Hello? Professor Greenbough?
That's Assistant Dean Greenbough to you, yearling. Now, step in here so I can get a look at you. Mind the razor vine. She's been budding, and it's made her a mite snappish. Well now, what mystery is this that presents itself at my door?
My name is Kerowynn Brooks, Assistant Dean Greenbough.
Indeed, but a name tells me little enough about you. From your accent, I can tell you're from southwest Maravan, though you hide it well. Your coat is spun from country wool, but the cut is still popular in Emberthrone and Blackrock. Your boots are a quality leather, resoled from much walking. There's curiosity in your face, though, so you come here seeking something, and that is what intrigues me.
Well, should I satisfy your curiosity or make you wait?
Please do. I was brewing some dragon's breath. Would you have a cup?
Thank you, no. I would like to sleep sometime in the next week.
Suit yourself. Thank you, Rosalind.
She's native to Dunborough, right? Isn't she?
As am I. I brought a small sprig of Rosie with me when I accepted the offer to come teach here. She reminds me of home and helps me handle the smaller tasks I have to deal with here.
What kind of tasks?
Rosalind takes care of the pests, keeps the air fresh, tidies the room when I remind her. She also makes sure I get enough sunshine, and I stay hydrated during the long breaks. She also scares the underclassmen who would trouble me with inane questions that aren't relevant to their studies.
She guards your chastity?
Dearest, I haven't been chaste since before Maravan's true dragons went into their long sleep. But I have no time nor taste for those who waste my time. I may have more of it than most, but it makes it no less valuable.
I won't waste any more of your time on pleasantries, then. I'm currently searching for the truth behind our traditions, testing the why of what we believe, and seeing what is true and what is not.
You have a pretty turn of phrase. So what brings you to my doorstep with your quest?
The halls of this place are awash in magic, but even among your most gifted students, and the most learned of your fellow teachers, you stand out. You've been here longer than anyone else, and in all that time you've never stepped away from working with the students, despite the inherent danger that poses. So if anyone would know the truth about sorcerers, it would be you.
I can tell you the facts of sorcery, but I should warn you that the facts may conceal the truth.
I'm not sure I take your meaning, Miss Greenbough.
You can call me Alessa, if you like. I haven't grown so old yet that I would snatch my seed name from another's lips. The facts of being a sorcerer, I'm sure, are known to you. A person is born with an inherent ability to force magic into being. This connection to the source of arcane power is colloquially referred to as a bloodline, though in truth it has little enough to do with the sorcerer's actual parentage.
I thought the power was inherited.
Most do. It's a common misconception that I have to explain every time a new student finds their way to us. They're trying to find where someone in their family could possibly have slept with a djinn, or demon, or just isn't necessarily how it works. Some sorcerers do inherit their magic directly. My family line stretches back to the Greenfathers of Dunborough, and there's no question where my magic comes from. But most people think that it's the only way it happens. Your inheritance might be the result of a binding contract, exposure to long-term magical events, or in some notable cases, a blessing from a powerful entity.
What sort of notable case?
I should think it obvious. The royal family, of course. When the great dragons raised up their mortal champions and gave them stewardship over the land, they granted them the power to enforce their claim and rights. It is that blessing that allows every child born to the House Eternal to be baptized without harms in Dragonspire, and that is why, without fail, they will all develop some manifestation of draconic might. I've been making a study of them for generations now, since the Royal Academy of the Arcane Arts was founded by the early rulers specifically for the younger members of the royal family to learn how to control their powers. I have had ample time to study all the different permutations of how the blessings manifest. Yes, thank you, Rosalind. I'll remember to take water and some sunshine soon.
Are there differences in how you and your colleagues teach students? Is it more difficult for a wizard to teach a sorcerer, or the other way around?
Teaching is a gift. Just because you can make magic, that doesn't mean you can explain to someone how you did it in a way they'll understand. With that said, I prefer to liken sorcerers and wizards to artists and art critics. An artist makes art, where the critic studies it. A critic can explain the elements of art, and they can often lecture at length about how art is created. Gifted critics can even mimic the techniques and styles of those they criticize. However, there is a flatness to wizardly explanations of the arcane arts that most won't notice. But if you have the power inside of you, it's almost offensive to hear it broken down into such cut-and-dry facts. Like standing in a sacred grove and listening to someone drone about the classification of trees and speculating on their growth patterns. It's all so bloodless, which is, I suppose, rather the point of the whole thing.
That sounds like an opinion that wouldn't be very popular at most universities.
I gave up worrying about popularity some time ago. It wouldn't befit someone of my years. However, there are many masters of the arts who look down their noses at sorcerers. They see the way our talents manifest, and they judge us by our faces. No one beautiful could possibly be learned it as well, they think. Though it seems they forget that mastering magic is not an option to those of us who have it burning inside them from a young age.
I suppose I never really thought of it that way.
Most don't. Most only see the power and the force, but they never see the things sorcerers have to do in order to lead safe lives. I have had a student many years ago who came from a long line of grave diggers. Poor boy had to visit his father's grave after a funeral, in case he lost the tight rein he kept on his power while grieving. I once had a girl who was the seventh child of the seventh child, and it seemed everywhere she went the nobles were fighting for her hand, assassins mistaking her for someone else, and fools trying to get her to hair off after lost treasures. She eventually became a teaching fellow, specializing in divination, but she mastered the art because she couldn't afford not knowing what the day might bring. Don't even get me started on the Ruby Princess. That girl's will is her strength. It may even be her downfall if she doesn't tend to it, with a touch more care.
What other misconceptions do you have to deal with on a regular basis?
Oh, we each have our own depending on what powers we were given, how we look, where we come from. But let's see if I can boil it down to some of the more general ones. It's safe to touch us, providing we've given you permission to. You can't catch magic just from getting too close, though there are plenty who have tried. We're not a fetish, and even if one of our long-ago ancestors chose to accept a powerful entity into their beds, doesn't mean we will do the same for any grouser who asks. And there's no correlation between the variety of our inheritance and which form of magic we choose to invest in. Those with the devil's blood may become great heroes, and those with celestial gifts may use their powers for wickedness. It is not the power we have, but what we choose to do with it. That makes us what we are.
And, if I may, what is the one message you would send to those who are curious about sorcerers?
Be respectful, and think about your questions before they come out of your mouth. If you ask to see magic, you might get more than you bargained for. All right, Rosalind, all right. Miss Brooks, it's been a pleasure, but I really must attend to my needs before my companion here gets more agitated. I do hope I was more help than a hindrance.
Thank you for seeing me, Alessa. I hope I can come back if I find myself in need of your expertise again.
Of course. It's always a pleasure to converse with someone who is interested in the facts. As long as you maintain that desire, you will always be welcome here.
Well, that went better than expected. Still, I'd better make my way out of here before someone tries to enroll me in classes. If you enjoyed my talk with Professor Greenbough, and you have a suggestion for what sort of person I should seek out for my next assignment, leave it in the comments below. If you like what we're doing with our Mythconceptions videos so far, then consider subscribing to the channel. The information for our Facebook page, as well as our Patreon, can be found in the details below. Remember, a little donation can go a long way. Until next time!